Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good
Yes, ma'am,
afternoon.
you're
Good
audible.
afternoon, ma'am.
Okay. Uh, Today I'll be discussing one topic, okay, from your fourth module, which is on note making. Okay. Now, last week we had done memo writing. So, is there any question from memo writing, or is it clear to all of you? So that you tell me. Otherwise, I'll move on to note making. Any question from memo writing? No. Okay. So let's start with note making. Now, as for note making, have you done this in your school, either at the secondary or at the high secondary level? Does anyone have any idea what
Yes,
note
ma'am.
making is? Okay. So, what is note making since you have done? So, you must be having some basic idea. What is it?
Ma'am, basically we are provided with a paragraph, and there we write. Actually, there is a summary writing actually.
Summary
Ma'am, we
writing.
have to write like point to point the requirements
Yes, yes.
Yes.
and don't need any explanation.
Okay. So, there are different types. How you can write this note. So, are you aware of that as well? Okay, I'm sure you
No.
are aware of that, but maybe you cannot recollect it now. So let's start. I'll go on. So, okay. Now, first, obviously, um, when you are, preparing this note, just as you said, a paragraph is given to you, okay, and you have to make notes out of it. Now, just let's forget for some time that a paragraph is given to you. Let's just imagine, you are hearing something oral, okay? Take for instance the class lectures, okay? This class, any class which you attend. Now, whatever the teacher is telling you, you do take down notes, right? Now, when you take down notes, do you write down everything? No. While hearing, you pick up, what are the essential things, which you need to jot down. You write only those points, right? uh, in between, your teacher may resort to some kind of anecdotes, okay, some questions, some answers, some relevant, some not so relevant part of your topic. So you omit those parts. You don't take those down, those discussions, okay, when you are taking down notes, right? Similar is the case when you are given a paragraph, okay, from which you will have to prepare this note. So you do not write down everything which is there in the paragraph. Okay, it's not summary. Somebody, I think, when talking about note making, said that there is a summary aspect in it. No, it's not really summary. Okay, summary is not there. You have to understand that, in this paragraph, what are the important points. Okay. Note making, it is a process of reviewing, connecting, and synthesizing ideas from, what you are hearing or what you are reading. Okay. It's a combined process of review, connection, and synthesis. Okay. Now, why do you prepare these notes? What is the purpose? Just because it is a part of, your syllabus? No, not because of that we learn note making. Note making serves, has far-reaching effects. It does help you. When you are hearing, when you have to take down notes from a lecture which you are hearing, okay, or even if you are reading a paragraph, okay, if you have to take down notes, make notes, it actually helps you to stay active and engaged. When you are engaged in this process, our attention span is, is of only 15-20 minutes. This is the average attention span of any person, okay, an adult I'm talking about, of any adult, normal adult. So, when you are engaged in that process, when you know that you are taking down notes, okay, if your attention somehow drifts somewhere else, you would immediately understand that you are not alert. So, it will just uh, be a jolt to you. Okay, when you're doing this, so it keeps you active. It helps to understand and clarify also your thinking. It reinforces your learning, and when you can identify the key ideas also. Not everything is essential. Okay, you know. So you will see through the material. Okay, whatever is given to you. You will also, when you're doing this, since it is a combined process of so many things, you will obviously remember the facts. Okay. You'll organize your ideas and you'll make connections also. This will in turn help you to plan and structure written assignments. It will also, and if you have to, if you're preparing notes, from class lectures or from some books, that will help you to, revise before the exam. So note making actually helps you in a lot of different ways. Okay. It's not completely a redundant practice. Now, note making, your notes. I'm not talking about the notes which you may have prepared, uh, in your school level, like till class 10. Okay. But a little bit, at a higher stage, like from your higher secondary onwards. Then when you're preparing the notes, it is essential that you write the source information. Why? Because, if you do not write the source information, chances are that, you will forget from where you have taken this idea. Okay. Or who has said it. Okay. From which lecture you have got this idea. So to make it, authentic note, you must write down the source. Headings will also help to identify the key topics. Okay. Headings, subheadings. Then you can use bullet points also. Okay. Which will help you to, pinpoint which are the key ideas, the key points. Okay. Now, some people have the tendency of making graphic designs while making notes, related obviously to the subject matter uh, of the topic you are writing on, right? Diagrams, let's say diagrams, some kind of diagram. So if you, incorporate diagrams in your note making, it also aids in enriching the note you are preparing. Now, suppose you are taking down notes from, a lecture which you are hearing, class notes, okay, class lecture. Your teacher may give you some references, okay, some books or some articles. So you can also mention that when you are taking down notes, okay, you can write down those. That will help you to, in your further studies. So these are certain aspects which must be there, when you are preparing a good note. Okay? These are the attributes of a good proper note. Okay? Now there are three stages of note making. Now, interestingly, we all say that this note making or taking down notes happens when you are hearing a lecture, okay, orally, or you're reading something. But it doesn't happen always at that time. There are three stages, before that, during that, and after that, which helps you to prepare notes. What do I mean by before this lecture, hearing a lecture or reading a lecture? You actually prepare yourself, what you need to know and what is the purpose of, attending this lecture. If you know the topic beforehand, I think some of you may have this tendency. You may, before the class, you may, just search Google, or if you have a book, you may turn over the pages to get an idea about what the topic will be all about. If you have that idea, when you will be taking down the notes, it will actually help you to identify the key ideas better when the lecture is being delivered. Okay, it will actually aid in making proper headings, subheadings. Okay, and then you can take down the notes in a proper manner. It happens also during the process of hearing or reading. Okay, because you are taking down the main ideas, because you have identified what are the main ideas. Okay. After, now by after, once you have written down the notes, the points, the main features, okay, of the lecture, you will, revisit your notes, and you can obviously review and reflect on it, and then you can organize it. Sometimes what happens, when you're hearing a lecture and you're taking down notes, you're in a hurry to take down everything the teacher says. Okay, everything you're hearing. What happens, then sometimes it's not in a very organized fashion. So you may have taken down things, all the notes, or whatever the teacher has said. Sometimes, essential information is there, sometimes non-essential information has also been taken down. So you do, when you reflect, revisit the notes after it has been taken down, you can actually edit it, organize it properly, okay, to suit your purpose. So these are the three stages of note making. Now let's come to types of, this note making. Okay, what are these types or styles of note? Okay. One is the linear notes. Now, do you have any idea what linear notes are?
Line by line.
Yes, line by line. So one is linear notes. Okay. The other one is pattern notes. I'll discuss them in detail. One is the pattern notes. Okay. In pattern notes, you have spider. Yeah. Yes. You want to say something?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I joined late, so his attendance has done.
What has been done?
Attendance.
No, you type it here.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay. So, for pattern notes, you have several subtypes like spidergram, flowchart, table, and tree diagram. Okay. Now let's first come to linear notes, which is the first style of note making. Now in linear notes, this is the most simplest and common type, or style of note making. Okay. This you follow when you are reading as well as listening. Now, linear obviously it suggests, line, so line by line. But you can obviously, it's not simply in the form of a paragraph. Okay, it appears in the form of, a note. Why? Because you make use of numbering or lettering, and you use indentation. Okay. Now, when you use numbering or lettering, why do you use that? Like 1, 2, 3 or A, B, C. It actually helps you to distinguish what are the points, okay, different points or different aspects. If it is written only in the form of a paragraph, okay, you may not understand it later when you revisit your notes. So when it is written in the form of numbers or letters, it will help you understand. See, under this heading, there were so many key points discussed. Okay. Indentation. Indentation is used when you are changing from one topic to another. Okay. Or when one particular topic, okay, heading has different points. You are not using indentation, numbering that way, but you can use indentation. Okay. It starts with a new point and it is indented. I hope you know what is indentation. Move towards the right. Okay. When you start a new paragraph, how you start? You start the first line, the first sentence a little bit from the with a space from the left side towards the right side. Okay, and then the following lines are towards the left, follows the margin, right? So that is the indentation. These two, uh, you know, features help you to understand and distinguish different points, the key aspects of a particular topic, okay, or a heading under this topic which is being discussed or which you are reading. So this is linear. Now coming to pattern notes. Okay. Pattern notes, it is actually quite visual. Linear notes is not very visual. It is something, which follows down the page. Because you're just writing line by line, sometimes using letters or numbers, and then sometimes using indentation, however you want to arrange it. But pattern notes, because it contains several subtypes like spidergram, flowchart, table, tree diagram. As the name suggests, you can understand it is more visual. So let's start with spidergram. Okay. Do you know what spidergram is? Any idea about spidergram?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Spidergram, okay, as the name suggests, it will obviously be shaped like a spider. Okay. The spider, it has got a body and it has got 8 legs. Okay. Now, let's not keep it 8. It can be 10 also. Now, for the body, okay, let's say we have to draw a spidergram of a particular paragraph. Let's take the example of pattern notes itself. We are discussing pattern notes. Okay. So in the border, okay, which is in a circular form, we write pattern notes. From pattern notes, we draw different legs. Okay, the legs of a spider. Now it can be 4, it can be 8, or it can be 10, depending on how many points are there which will protrude from the pattern notes, from the main body. Okay. Since it appears in the form of a spider, almost resembles that shape, we call it a spidergram. Okay. Now we were talking about the subtypes of pattern notes, which are 4: tree diagram, spidergram, table, flowchart. So from pattern notes, which is in the middle, in the form of a circle, a circle, which resembles the body of a spider, we draw 4 legs. Let's assume that. On one leg, we write tree diagram. Second, we have spidergram. Third, we have flowchart, and on the fourth, we write table. Okay. Now, tree diagram, okay, that will have 2-3 features. So from tree diagram, we again, draw 2-3 lines. Okay, again like legs, and rewrite each of the aspects of tree diagram. Same for spidergram, same for flowchart, and same for table. Okay, it's visual. I'll circulate the handout. You can see it and then you will understand. Okay, better. So shaped like a spider, and that is why it is spidergram. Then you have table. Okay. That is also a type of pattern. Now table, I think all of you know this. Suppose you are asked to write differences between, let's take a common example, the pros and cons of online learning. Suppose this is your topic, okay? You are either hearing it or you are reading about it. Now you have to take down the note. Now since it is talking about the pros and cons of online learning, you can obviously make a table. You can write online learning, okay, as the heading, and then you can draw a table. On one side, you can write the pros. On the other side, you can write the cons. And then what are the pros? You can write it as 1, 2, 3, 4, or just one by one. Okay, the cons, one, two, three, four, or just one after the other, right? We do this, when we write, about the differences of two, three things, or advantages, disadvantages of a particular method, or such things like pros and cons of such online learning. In those types of topics, we use linear notes. Sorry, we use pattern notes, and tabular form is used. Okay. Flow chart. This is also another type of style of pattern note. Okay, and type of pattern. Flowchart. All of you, I think, are quite conversant with preparing PPTs. Okay, so you must be creating flowcharts, or we all had it in math also. As far as I remember, in 19 we had this flowchart, right? Where you write one topic in a box, and then there is this arrow, then another, what it leads to, then another arrow, then what it leads to. Okay, so that's a flowchart. I think flowchart, you all are conversant with the idea of flowchart.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So flowchart is also a type of pattern. Okay. Then there is this tree diagram. Okay. Now tree diagram, it is slightly similar to spidergram. Okay. But then there is a difference also. Spidergram, just resembling the structure of a spider, and that is why in the circle you have the main idea, and then these offshoots, the legs. Okay. In the tree diagram, we don't use this circle. Okay, the body of the spider. But those offshoots, those lines are there. Suppose we are discussing the styles of notes. Okay. So the heading is styles of notes, and then we have two styles of notes, which is linear notes and pattern. So what we do, we draw two legs, or let's say draw lines from just below styles of notes, and under one we write linear notes, and on the others we write pattern notes. Now pattern notes, it has then four subtypes. So again, four lines from pattern notes, and we use them. Okay. Then when we talk about the aspects of the each subtype of pattern notes, we again draw lines and write about the aspects. So instead of the circular body of the spider, those legs, the offshoots from the main idea, that is there in the tree diagram. And usually, when you get a question from note making, it's usually on spidergram or this thing, tree diagram. Okay, these are the most common form of writing pattern notes. Have you followed, class? Is there any question?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now I'll be uploading this note making now in your classroom. Okay, you have to go through it and see the different subtypes of pattern notes, okay, which we were discussing right now. I want you all to go through it and see whether you can understand it. Okay, just give me 2 minutes. I'm uploading it. Okay, I have posted the handout on note making in your classroom. Just check whether you have received it or not.
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, towards the end, you have this linear notes and pattern notes. Go to those pages, especially pattern notes, and see if you have understood what I was trying to tell, discuss about these types of pattern notes. Just go through that. Did you find it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, from page number 5. Go through from page number 5, all of you, and see. And ask me if you have any questions. Are you going through the note?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Is there any word limit?
Word limit for note
Yes,
making?
ma'am.
No, no. For note making, you do not have any word limit. The only thing is that it's not a summary. Okay, you only have to identify the key ideas, the phrases, and write it. Sometimes you know what happens in note making. You do not even write complete sentences. Only the phrases or the key ideas. Okay, like 2, 3 words together, so that it will make some kind of sense. So there is no word limit as such. Only the major
Ma'am,
things.
like any points?
Yes, points. Basically, this is a
Ma'am,
point.
in note making, we have to use short words, and then at the end we have to like write key to those words. These things we have to do.
Yeah, suppose you are given, a paragraph. I'm giving you an example. You're given a paragraph and you are asked to write a note in the form of a tree diagram. Okay. Now, as you can see the diagram here, the tree diagram here, it is given. You would see that, only it is mentioned in the form of points. 2, 3 words are there and then you write it. It's not in the form of sentences. Okay, not complete sentences. That is what you will have to do. You will have to, it's not open ended, okay? You won't be asked simply write a note on this paragraph. No. The type would be specifically mentioned in the question paper, which you'll have to use. Depending on that, you will have to write it. Now, for pattern notes, if it is in the form of a table, what do you do when you write the differences? You do not write complete sentences, right? You just write points, 2, 3 words which will make some kind of sense. That is what you do. In case of linear notes, since it is in the form of, paragraphs or let's say numbering, lettering of the key ideas, sometimes, one sentence is there in one point, so it is a sentence. Otherwise, in pattern notes, complete sentences are not used. Where will you write the complete sentence? It's actually visual, more visual. Okay. So complete sentences are not there in your pattern note, any type of pattern note. There is no
No,
word
no, I
limit as
was saying that in 12th, like we have done, like in note making, we had used a short words. Like college, we like CLLG, and then
no,
at
no,
the
no, no,
end we
no,
write.
no, 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 no. That you don't do. Abbreviations are not there.
At the end, we have to give, used to give like key to abbreviations, then write that abbreviation and give arrow and what is that means that.
No, no, no. You don't do that.
Ma'am,
This,
in the question, it will be asked to make a note like table or spidergram.
yes,
It will
yes,
be
yes,
mentioned in the question.
yes, yes. It will not be open-ended. Just write note and whatever you are familiar with, you write different types. There are 90 students and 90 students resorting to 5, 6 types. No, one specific type would be mentioned. Any other question, class? Is it clear to all of you?
Ma'am,
Yes.
do you have to give heading?
Yes. Heading actually helps you to identify, if it is linear notes, especially, headings will help you, when you are using numbering, indentation. Okay. Heading actually helps you to understand, which topic you are, making the note on, you know. And if it is stable, okay, suppose you're talking about the advantages, disadvantages of a particular method. Okay, fine. So you obviously have to give the heading as disadvantages and advantages. Otherwise, how will you know under which column you're writing what? Okay. So headings, depending on the type, of note you are preparing in, you have to give heading. Is it clear, class? Any other question?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
All of you?
No, ma'am, no question.
Okay. Uh, is the handout helpful?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have you gone through all the types of pattern notes? Did you go
Yes,
through all
ma'am, four types.
four types? And it's clear, no question, right?
Yes,
Go
ma'am.
through okay. Go through linear notes if you haven't.
Ma'am, in exam we have to give examples.
No, it depends on the paragraph. If there is any example which you think is really very important, if signifies a key idea or something like that, you can give an example. Otherwise, no example.
Ma'am, in the last part of the note, there's another type like the Cornell method.
Yes, we generally don't use it, and that is why I did not teach you that. Okay. It's mentioned there, but
Okay,
we
ma'am.
don't use it, so I haven't discussed.
Ma'am, what is intensive note taking?
Intensive note taking. Did you ask that? Intensive note taking.
Yes, ma'am.
Then you are very much intensely, into this activity of note making, rigorous note making. That is intensive note making. It is not any type or something like this. Just defining the intensity or the activity you are involved in. It is not any type of note making. Okay. So if you have no other question, then shall we end the class here today?
Sure, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you,
Okay.
ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.